How's it going, guys? Starting off your week with an Ubers match with Kyogre and the Thunderous and the Manaphy and the Garchomp and the things, and I kind of like this team, but I literally forgot Ferrothorn. I got 5 out of 6 of the dudes together, and I was like, what else do I normally use on this team? And then I looked at my Ubers box and saw Mewtwo. I was like, oh, fuck it, you can come along today too. But it's against a guy by the name of Arcena 200. That's all the background information you really need to know about this. As you can see, he doesn't have any weather going on in his team, so I can just bring in Kyogre and whoop-de-doo, 100% accuracy Thunders and free rest for Manaphy. And that's going to make it a hell of a lot easier. So he decides to lead off with his Fortress on turn 1 just because he is guaranteed the Stealth Rocks with the Sturdy and whatnot. I don't have any entry hazards on this team for the time being. I may make a different Ferrothorn that has Stealth Rocks and Spikes to help this team out a little bit, but I just kind of brought whatever. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but the point is I might as well try to go for the 2-hit KO on him with the Scald. I don't know if he is a special defensive Fortress, if he would have taken that well. I'm not familiar with how well that thing takes Scalds normally, but the thing that really surprises me is after he lays up the Stealth Rocks, he just leaves it in to die. Never mind the fact that he has a multi-scale Lugia, or this thing. This thing definitely should have come in, especially if it's a Rest Talker. But he just leaves that thing in to die. I guess he assumed he didn't really need a Rapid Spinner. No, it's not really about that. It's about laying up your hazards and shit later. I don't know. I just had something weird in mind that I'll explain later. But for the time being, he just roared me out in a Garchomp, and I think that is a fantastic matchup for me, because I can just go for an Outrage, get a fuck ton of damage in. I'm thinking that his only phasing move is Roar at this point. And I say only phasing move because it turns out that he actually does have 2 phasing moves, and he's going to go ahead and knock me out of here with the Dragon Tail. Now, I do take a lot of damage from that because it's stab on his account. It's super effective on my account. But it is a contact move, so at least I get a little bit of damage on the way out into my my Thundurus. Now, I did want to go for the Thunder just because it's stab. It'll do a fuck ton of damage to anything but his own Garchomp, which I remembered was around at this point. I was like, I'm just going to go for the safe kill with the HP Ice, because why the fuck not? So, knocks that thing out, and that's 2 fairly bulky things. Well, Fortress not really being as bulky as Giratina, I guess. 2 things that aren't exactly hyper offensive out of the way is what I'm trying to say. This thing is like hyper everything. Good lord. I'm going to bring it in because I thought just based on the way he was playing it, it's Scarfed. It's not. It is, I would assume, Specs, because this Draco Meteor does way too much, and I know that Kyogre has a really nice base Spec D without any investment. I max HP, and that shit almost knocks me out, but I'm kind of glad that it doesn't, because I'm actually able to stay in and get another harsh Spec. Did I say Spec D before? Spec attack drop on him is what I meant to say. But bring in Manaphy because he's at like -3 now, and I can just go ahead and Calm Mind set up. I completely forgot about Lugia, but whatever. So that thing comes in. I should have just gone for a Scald just to ruin that thing's multi-scale, because multi-scale Lugia is really annoying. I've actually fought a couple of those in the past 2 days. I'm looking at UZ because that fucking One-Ears was really annoying. That's a game we're going to talk about later, but going to go for a Calm Mind and an Ice Beam. As you can see, it's not stab or anything, but I am boosted, and even after the multi-scale, that's a fucking disgusting amount of damage. He's just going to get me out of there. That's fine. Goes into Garchomp. His multi-scale is ruined, and I figure, you know what? I might as well go for the Outrage. But going back to what I was talking about on the Fortress from earlier, I think this Lugia is actually, and if it's not, it should be, but just based on the move he goes for right now, Zen Headbutt, I think this could very well benefit from being a para-shuffling Lugia, because you get the hazard set up, you paralyze everything, and then they're just crippled with their low speed, and then they take a lot of entry hazards coming in. So if that's what it was, that's a cool strategy, but you just completely fucked it up. And then if it's not a para-shuffling Lugia, I don't understand what the fuck you're doing with your team. But because he goes for Zen Headbutt, it triggers my Rough Skin again, and it actually matters at this point because it brings me into 2-hit KO range, and that's neato. Garchomp taking out a few things. He brings in his own. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let mine die. At the very least, I'll get a little bit of Rough Skin damage. I don't know if I was Jolly or not, or if he was Jolly and I was Adamant, or if it was a Speed Tire or anything like that. To be honest, I don't give a fuck, because I have Manaphy. It's at, like, full HP. Well, not full, but closer. I'm at like 80%, something like that. So I figure I can take an Outrage just because I'm one of those bulky base 100 things. I don't remember if this is the game where I still had special defense EVs or I switched over to physical. I think I might have still had special. So that might actually come into play later. But I'm going to go ahead and snooze up, rest up, and Hydration's going to wake me up at the end of the turn. And all I have to do is sit in here until he hurts himself, and then just like boost up along the way too, because his Lugia is dead and now he has nothing to phase me out. He lost both of his phasers, and that's just gonna spell nothing but good things for Manaphy. So go for a Scald, hoping for a burn. Unfortunately, don't get it. but it looks like I can live another outrage just based on that. Maybe if min-max variations are going to be nice to me. I was fully prepared to stay in and just try to chance it, because if he did squeak through, there was good odds that he might have not taken me out. But then if he hurt himself in confusion, that just made it easy, because I just recover all of it and wake up and I'm cool. So hits himself twice in confusion, which makes my job a hell of a lot easier, because I can just take him out with the Scald, and I am looking brand fucking new. Like, I don't remember if I got a Calm Mind or anything along the way, but he brings in his Specs White Kyurem, which is still a really fucking terrible, horrible, awful threat. I'm going to stay in despite that, and try to rest off the damage just to see how much it does. And he locks himself in on Dragon Pulse. I'm looking, and I'm seeing that it does over half. So after I rest off and get back up to full HP, God, just rest and hydration. I can see why this thing got banned of fucking Ubers, good lord. But I can go ahead and set up a Calm Mind, and just based on that, it will do less than half damage on the next turn, and I should be able to live it, rest up, and then just, he'll be at the point where he's like, oh shit, this is bad, and then he'll have to do something about it. The one thing I am kind of scared about, or I think that I was kind of scared about, was Ho-Oh, because I don't think I'm physically defensive because I have Scald, and that kind of thing, even though I think I should be physically defensive, just because I have Scald, because I can always boost up my Spec D up to +6, but in terms of, like, physical hits, all I have are EVs and then just potentially burning the opponent. But as you can see, I do live two Dragon Pulses, back up to full. He decides, fuck this game, I'm out, and decides to go into his Ho-Oh. Now, this is interesting because his Ho-Oh actually ends up using an illegal move here, which bites him in the ass for two reasons. First off, fucking Ho-Oh doesn't get Stone Edge. What are you doing? And it doesn't even do that much, because I'm actually able to live it with a pretty decent amount of HP, take him out with a +2 Scald, and if he had gone for a Stab Brave Bird instead, that definitely would have done a hell of a lot more damage, and it would have put his White Kyurem in a good position to take me out, because I believe that's all he has left, and if he wants to go for a Dracometer to at least take this thing out, that would be fantastic, but I think this is his last Pokemon at this point, and the game is basically mine. So, the instant he locked himself in on Dracometer, I basically knew that the game was mine, because he'll just keep whittling away his special attack, but now he doesn't even get the satisfaction of taking me out in one shot, because his Ho-Oh was not able to do 34 more points of damage to me, and that kind of sucks, because now he's just reducing his own Spec attack, and I'm just all the way back up to full. For that guy, that one guy once upon a time that said you snooze, you lose, he has obviously not used a Manaphy in Rain, ladies and gentlemen, because this thing just does nothing but sleep, and then when it's not asleep, it's kicking ass. And spoilers, it really doesn't sleep that often. It sleeps for like the end of a turn, as was demonstrated many times in this game. But it's to the point where his Dracometer's like doing like 40 damage tops. I could boost up endlessly just to see how much it would do, but I think he'd run out of Dracometers before I'd boost all the way, so I figure I'm just gonna go for Scald and try to burn him. Someone was like, why are you using Scald? I know you have Ice Beam. And I was like, that's a good question, but after the damage calcs and the rain and the stab and stuff like that, it literally splits it down to like Scald being 90 and Ice Beam being 95, so you drop 5 base power for a chance for a burn. I think that's cool. That's kind of okay. I think that's how the numbers ran anyway, but Scald and Ice Beam were kind of close in base power. I was like, why the fuck not? We'll try to get a burn, because getting a burn on White Kyurem to me is really funny, because it's got Turbo Blaze and all that shit. Anyways, that's the game. That was an Ubers game, and you guys might actually see this team more often, because I really like using it. I've only used it a couple times, but it's been fun. I'll probably rotate out a couple dudes, and then just use this alongside my Sun team, and then I need to make other teams for Ubers, because playing in Ubers lately, I'm not gonna lie, after using Rain, lots of fun. So, anyways, that's gonna do it for this game. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a shorter one, I suppose, but if you did, you're welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. And I think that should do it out of me for today. I will see you guys tomorrow.